You're listening to today's inspirational message on the Proverbs with Kurt Bjorklund.
Week by week, we're considering a different proverb, chapter of Proverbs. And what we're trying to do is identify some of the themes and ideas that are unifying in the chapter. And in a way, that's challenging because Proverbs appears at times just to be a bunch of randomly collected wise sayings. And chapter 12 probably seems especially like that. But before I jump into today, I just want to encourage you again, if I haven't, just to read through the chapter every day, maybe in a different translation. The ESV, the NIV are great, the New American Standard. Then maybe something that's a little more of a paraphrase. I really like the expanded translation, maybe the Message. Those are good ways just to take in and let these Proverbs speak to you. But here's the first theme that I really want us to explore, and we won't explore all the themes in chapter 12, but the first one is this idea of being able to receive feedback. Verse 1, whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is stupid. Now, that is such a strong word. Instruction or discipline is the Hebrew word musar. It means instruction, correction. And reproof is the word takah, and it means rebuke, punishment, correction. So if you hate being corrected, it means you're stupid. That is such strong words. The Message, which is one of those paraphrase kind of translations, says how short-sighted it is to refuse correction. And then in verse 2, a good person obtains favor from the Lord. Verse 3, the root of righteousness will never be moved. And so stupidity means that it's brutish and dumb. It was used of animals who lack sense. I remember when I was in college, I worked at a construction company, and one of the foremen that I worked for one day came over when I was working on something. I was we were building houses, and so I was doing the base carpentry stuff. And he started to show me how to do something better. And evidently, I gave him a little bit of an attitude. I don't even remember exactly how I did it. But I'll never forget his reaction. He just simply said, "Oh, I'm really sorry I jumped all over you." And he turned and he walked away. And it was such a good moment because it was like he was saying, yes, I've been doing this for 20 years. Yes, I can show you a better way. But if you're too stupid and want to do it that way, have at it, fool, was basically what he was saying. And I realized that the inability to receive feedback is one of the hallmarks of being foolish, and the willingness to receive feedback is one of the hallmarks of wisdom. There was a great book written a few years ago, Thanks for the Feedback. And the authors went through and argued that we have triggers that cause us to not want to receive feedback. They said one would be we just simply say, well, if there's any untruth, we'll ask the is it accurate question. And anything that we can use to disprove any part of it is a way to dismiss it. So sometimes it's wrong spotting. So for example, if your spouse says, you know what, you're coming home late all the time. Just the other day, you told me you were going to be home at 6 and you got in at 6:30. And you said, I got in at 6:25 that day. You're wrong. That's wrong spotting. You're saying because you're inaccurate, everything you say here is wrong. When the heart of it was, you're not coming home at the exact time you told me, and it really is frustrating to live on the other side of you because of that. And so sometimes wrong spotting will keep us from hearing the truth and saying, is this basically accurate? Secondly, sometimes our trigger is relational. Maybe what somebody says is right, but we don't want to hear it from them. Maybe there's somebody who we've had some issues with, challenges with, and we just say, I don't want to hear it from you. And then sometimes we'll have a trigger that's identity driven, where we'll say, this is so deep, I can't even look at how I may or may not be doing what you said because I so identify with this. I remember in the same period that I was working that construction job, I didn't really have a lot of investment in being a carpenter. It was new to me. And it wasn't really threatening. But at the time, I was trying to participate in college athletics. And if somebody had criticized my athleticism or my ability to play that sport, there was a sense in which it cut to my identity. It sounds goofy to even say that all these years later. But it was part of how I didn't always hear feedback. And what Proverbs does here is it just says, if you want to be wise in this life, learn to receive feedback, because if you hate reproof, if you turn your nose at it, it is foolish and it will damage your life.
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.